Hello everyone, welcome to RBI. We have completed the issuer part, means who can be the issuer, and we have studied it in very detail, means every point we have completely digged into. Now we are coming to our second point, which is our maturity, that is the bond maturity. So now when I am talking about the maturity of the bond, what does it really means? See, when I am going to get my principal fully repaid, okay, that will be my maturity of the bond, means it is the tenure of the bond. Means when you will see the document, okay, the deed of the bond, you will find out that yes, the bond is going to mature in 5 years. Suppose if I am saying that the bond is going to mature in 5 years, so you are going to get the coupons. If this is a coupon paying bond, you are going to get coupon for every 5 year, and then in the 5th year you will be getting the whole principal amount. If it would have been a zero coupon bond, then there is no coupon in between. Just at the end of the 5th year you will be getting your principal amount. Clear? So we can say that if I am talking about this 5 year, now what is this 5 years? It is basically the term to maturity. Now when your bond is going to be mature, means what? This is the point of time when you have invested, okay, it's just a baby bond, and this is the time point where your bond become mature. Clear? So your bond maturity, it can also be a one day, means today you are investing and tomorrow you can get the principal amount back, or it can also range to 30 years. Even there are companies who offer the bond with the original maturity of 100 years, means you are going to get the principal amount after 100 years, and in the between you are going to get the coupon payments. Along with that, there is one more kind of bond which will not give you the principal amount, that is our perpetual bond. Perpetual bond, they are not going to give you any kind of principal back, because these are the infinite time period of bond, means they don't have any maturity. Okay, so what they will do, over the period they will just provide you the coupon. Clear? Now based on maturity, we classify our securities into two different type of security. One is the money market security, and the other one is the capital market security. So trust me, if you look at the book and the syllabus, it is only covering that this is a short term maturity bond. Okay, short term maturity security with 1 year or less, means you can say less than 1 year maturity, and it is greater than 1 year. So you can say this is a short term investment and this is a long term investment. Means if you are investing for the long time period, that particular security is known as the capital market security. If you are investing for the short time period, you are calling it as the money market security. Now the important classification, if you remember the T bills, okay, T bonds, okay, tips, and one more, treasury bills. Okay, so our treasury bills, T notes as well as T bonds, can you classify them? Basically our bills will become the part of money market security because of the tenure less than 1 year, and our T note, T bonds will become the part of capital market securities. But now we have to understand them in a more detailed manner. Now we are moving into the details of these kind of money market securities and capital market securities. So when you are trading for the short period of time, okay, so can you say that these are helping in providing the liquidity in the market? Now what is this liquidity means? means the buying and selling, the buying and selling activity. The flow of money in the economy means what I call as a liquidity. Suppose there is a particular pen available in the market. Okay, this particular available pen, if there are no buyer and seller available for the pen, or if there is a buyer but not any seller, or if there is a seller but not the buyer, we call this pen as the illiquid. Okay, if a buyer is available but seller is not available, or seller is available but buyer is not available, we call it as a illiquid. Or another example of illiquidity, the pen, buyer is ready to buy at 5 but seller is ready to sell at 7. Means what? Is it possible to have a trade? No. Why? Because of the huge price gap. Because of the huge price gap. And why there is a huge price gap? Because the number of buyers are very less. The number of buyers are very less. Because if the number of buyers would have been very higher, okay, then what will happen? Then someone will definitely come and he would have purchased for 7. Someone would have definitely come and would have purchased for 7. But there are no buyers, that's why he can demand it for 5, but seller is ready to sell it 7. So there is no trade will take place. Means the counter of this pen is illiquid in nature. Okay, it can be in opposite also. How? The buyer is ready to purchase at 12, but the seller is ready to sell at say 15. Buyer wants to buy, okay, but because of less number of sellers, he can't buy at 12. Why? Because there are suppose only a single seller and he is quoting at 15. So how the buyer will buy at 12? He needs someone to sell at 12, but there are no sellers. So what he will need to do? He need to buy at 15, or he will wait. Means no trade take place, or if the trade will take place, it will take place at a higher amount. Clear? So this we call it as illiquid. But with the short term trading, okay, this will create the liquidity in the market. The flow of the money into the economy will move. Means A is the issuer of the bond, B is the payer. Okay, he lends the money to A, then after 1 year A will give back the money to B. So means what? The flow of money is quite good. So we understand the basic two necessity of the money market is that it provides the liquidity as well as it allows the flow of money into the economy. Now, for what we need our marketing, for what we need the money market security? To fund our short term requirement for the money. Okay, it can be the working capital. Okay, you need money for say working capital. So for the working capital you don't need the money for 20 years or 15 years. You need the money for say 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. So means what? You want to continue your business because currently you don't have the fund, but later you will be having the fund. So for the now time being to run your business, what you will do? You will raise the money for the market for the short period of time. Next important point is that money market securities are mostly over the counter. Okay, these are not traded over our share market or exchange traded market. Okay, so these are completely over the counter. Now, what kind of securities in which we deal with? Okay, one is quite easy to say, that is the treasury bills. Next we have certificate of deposit, CD. We have commercial paper. We have cover call money, and we have a forward rate agreement. T-bill we have already studied, but these 4 points we have not studied yet. Now coming to our capital market securities, and we know that these are for the longer time period. Okay, means when your time period is low, your investment is quite risky. Your investment is quite risky, but the money market securities are of low risk. Capital market security are of high risk. How? Suppose I am just giving a small example. You have given a money to Ram. Okay, you have given a money to Ram for say 6 months. Okay, so you know that nothing big is going to happen in 6 months to Ram, and you will definitely going to get the money. But what if you are giving the money to him for say 20 years? Now in 20 years there can many possibilities and many events can happen, but in the 6 months the possibilities of many events is quite less. So if something wrong will happen, you are not going to get your money. So capital market securities are riskier as compared to our money market securities. Clear? Now, what are the securities covered under the capital market securities? So we have bonds, okay, we have debentures. Now we have asset securitization, okay, we have retained earnings, we have euro issues. Okay, apart from that we have many different kinds of capital market securities. Now if something is say for 20 years, do you think that it will be very liquid in nature? No. So capital market securities are illiquid, means comparatively less liquid. If I will say that my money market security is highly liquid, so my capital market securities are comparatively less liquid. So the capital market security, the why we need the capital market security? To fund the big projects, okay, to fund the big projects, and which will going to give you the return in say 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, such kinds of big project, okay, which are very like highly capitalized, okay, in which you need the huge amount of money, there you invest for the long period of time. So now tell me, where you will expect the higher return on investment, money market or capital market? In money market your return on investment is low, and in your capital market your return on investment is high. The reason is that big projects, high net PV generating assets, which can give you the huge amount of return over the longer period of time. And if you will see the yield curve, okay, your maturity will increase, the interest will also increase over the period of time. If you will see the interest rate for 1 year and if you will see the interest rate for 7 years, there is a quite high difference, okay. Now coming back to our cover call money, this is basically the investment which starts from 1 day to 14-day time period, 1 day to 14-day time period, and it can be repaid on demand, means whenever if you will demand in between, you can also get your money back. I am not going to explain again the T-bills. Now our certificate of deposit is basically related to our fixed deposit, where you deposit your lump sum for the period of time and you promise not to withdraw your money, okay. So what will happen, if you will pay say $100 now, and after the 1 year you are getting $102, okay. So this is our certificate of deposits. This usually happen with banks. Now commercial paper, it is important to understand this part. The commercial paper is an unsecured debt, okay. The commercial paper is an unsecured debt, means what? Obviously it is a for the short time period, because we are talking about the money market. Now what is happening in this part, they are issuing a certificate, okay, on the based of that security they are receiving the money, and it is completely unsecured, means the organization, the institution, the corporations, they are not putting anything as the collateral on this paper, okay. These are very short term, and what is the needs of this? So that they can pay their inventories, they can meet their short term liabilities, they can pay the salaries, These are the basic short term requirements. So because this is an unsecured debt, if a small company who don't have any good credit rating, credit worthiness, they won't be able to issue the commercial paper. Only the companies which have the good credit rating, who have the goodwill in the market, only they can issue these kinds of commercial paper. Clear? Usually our commercial paper will mature before 9 months. Okay, commercial paper will get matured before 9 months, but it hardly reaches the maturity of 9 months. Usually it is covered within 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Only at the rarest case it will reach the maturity level of 9 months. Clear? So here I have discussed few of the important thing, but yes, there is something that is FRA which I have not discussed yet with you, but in the coming lectures I will be discussing the same with you, but this is not the right time. So we have covered our bond maturity. So issuer done and maturity done. Now coming to the par value. This is nothing but the principal amount that will be repaid at maturity. There are many names of this par value. Okay, it can be the face value, write it down, face value. Then we have maturity value, redemption value and principal value. Means there are the 4 names by which you can get your principal amount back. Okay, it is the principal value, it is the face value, it is the maturity value, it is the redemption value. Means what? When your bond is going to redeem. Okay, when I am saying that your bond is about to mature, you can also say that my bond is, I want to redeem my bond, because now it's the maturity time. Clear? Now suppose if I am quoting that the face value of my bond is $1,000, okay, and it is quoted at the 98. Now what is the meaning of this 98? They want to say that this is the face value of the bond, the principal value of the bond, and now it is trading at $980. This is the percentage form. Means bonds usually follows this rule. Means they state themselves, they quote themselves in the form of percentage. Clear? Now if the face value of the bond, the principal value of the bond is say 1000, and what is the price? If the price is $1100, if the price is $1000, and if the price is $900. So now if the price is $1100, we can say that the bond is trading at premium. The bond is trading at premium because the price of the bond is higher as compared to the future value. If the price and the future value is same, because the bond is trading at par value. The bond is trading at par value. And if it is trading at 900, we will say the bond is trading at discount. We are going to say that the bond is trading at discount to par. Now this is par, this is discount to par, this is discount to par, and this is premium to par. Clear? The par value is the future value. The par value is your future value, or you can say the principal value. Clear? Now when I am talking about the coupons, so we have already discussed that there are 2 kind of bond. One is the coupon paying bond and one in which there is no coupon bonds. So now when I say the coupon is fixed, okay, when I am getting the fixed amount of coupon, that is known as the plain vanilla bond. So first of all, coupon, okay, you are not getting any coupon and you are getting the coupon, and when you are not getting the coupon, what is the name? Zero coupon bond. What is the name? Zero coupon bond, or there is another name for this, that is the pure discount bonds. Pure discount bonds. Now there is a coupon paying bond. Okay, the coupon paying bond where the coupons which you are getting is fixed. Okay, coupon can also be floating, but if the coupon which you are getting is completely fixed, that is known as the plain vanilla bond. What will happen? You will get every, say, semi annually, every 6 months you will getting the coupon, and at the end the maturity you will be getting the principal. But there can be some another kind of bond in which you are getting the coupon plus some amount of principal, coupon principal, coupon principal, coupon principal, and at the end also the coupon plus principal, but the principal you are getting in a short term interval of time. Clear? Are you getting it? Just like if I will say EMI, what will happen in EMI? We will pay the principal plus the interest every month. We will pay principal part as well as the interest part every month. Clear? Okay, so the last point is the currency. Now this is a very big topic, and sometimes students face little amount of difficulty in understanding this part. Okay, so basically we have the two different kinds of bonds. One is the dual currency bond, dual currency bond, and we have a currency option bond. Now what is this dual currency bond? In dual currency bond there are basically two things. One is the interest and one is the principal. So the issuer said that you are going to get the interest part in, say, rupees, and the principal part you are going to get in USD, matlab US dollars. There are two different currency involved. The interest is involved with different currency and the principal is involved with different currency. Clear? Now the name of the second bond is currency option bond. Means here the bond holders, means those who are giving the money to the organization, the bond holders, those who hold the bonds, they will tell the issuer that in which currency they would like to receive their payments. Means it is completely in the hands of the bond holders to decide and say in which currency would you like to take the bond. Now important point of this part, suppose if I am talking about a India perspective. Okay, if I am talking about from the perspective of India, they are issuing the bonds in, say, dollars. They are issuing the bonds in, say, dollars. So when they have issued the bonds in dollars, they have suppose received $1. They have received $1 and their principal amount which they have to pay is, say, $2. They have received $1 and the amount which they have to pay is $1. But when India will receive this $1, they have to convert the money in rupees. Suppose when they have taken the money, that time the rupee was 60 per dollar. So how much India will get at the time of receiving the money? They will receive 60 rupee. Clear? Now when they have to repay this amount, the interest, the currency exchange rate was trading at 70 per dollar. It is trading at 70 per dollar. So how much we have to pay? We have to pay 140 rupees. Now if the exchange rate would not have increased, India would have to pay only 120. But this bond is affected by the change in the currency. So if Indian rupee will devalue, okay, this is the example of devaluation of the Indian rupee. If the currency will devalue, foreign currency, if our domestic currency will devalue, then what will happen? Then India will have to face the loss. But if domestic currency will appreciate, if the domestic currency will appreciate, then India will gain. Okay, so now I will tell you the example of appreciation and depreciation. If suppose the currency is trading at say 70 rupees per dollar, currently it is trading at 70 per dollar. If it will increase to rupees 80 per dollar, or if it will decrease to 60 per dollar. Now in this case the rupee devalue, and in this case the rupee appreciates. Okay, so if rupee devalue, can I say the dollar appreciate? And if rupee appreciate, can I say the dollar depreciates? Clear? Now if you have some basic idea of balance sheet, the assets and liabilities, okay, I am taking here as the assets and here I am taking the, okay, sorry, here I am taking the liabilities and here I am taking the asset. If we will go to our previous example, we have $2 as the liability, means we have to give $2. Now what you want, the value of your liability to increase or decrease? I want my liability value to decrease. So now if you will see in this part that dollar is appreciating, means what? The value of your liability is increasing, the value of your liability is increasing. Clear? If your dollar will depreciate, then the value of your liability will decrease. So we want our dollar to depreciate, because this is our liability and we always want our liability to decrease and we always want our asset to increase. Clear? So basically I have given you all the basic 5 features of the fixed income security, that is the issuer, maturity, par value, coupon rate and the currency. Clear? So I am ending this lecture here. Thank you.